Great. So if you're happy to do so, find a space on your back. And particularly for those of you who are feeling stiff in the lower back, that feels like quite an effort to get down there. It'll be good. I'm going to suggest that when you lay on your back, that you bend your knees, and that will give your lower back the support that it needs, and it will take the pressure away from the hips. So you can allow either the knees to drift together to rest, or you can pop a pillow or a bolster underneath the knees, if that will help to take away any weight that you're holding in the hips. Notice for a moment the space that you're occupying. Notice that wide space through the back of the hips, through the back of the shoulders. It might help to draw the shoulder blades together, to turn the palms up towards the ceiling, so that you can feel that opening through the chest, through the collarbones, so that you can release the full weight of the upper body into the floor beneath you. Pay particular attention to how you hold the head, so avoid turning the nose up towards the ceiling. Rather have the bridge of the nose parallel to the ceiling, so that you can feel the chin gently drawn towards the chest, allowing for a little natural lift through the back of the neck, creating a neutral position at the top of the spine. If you follow this line through from the back of the neck, you'll feel a gentle dip between the shoulder blades and another natural lift in the lower back. That dip occurs again through the back of the hips, as we recognise that the spine should make a comfortable, released and easy S shape, rather than creating a straight, stiff line. If you focus on the breath, visualise sending the breath down through the length of the spine, and with each deeper inhalation, perhaps visualise sending the breath between each individual vertebra. Every time you exhale, feel the tight muscles that support the spine release their grip. So with every inhale, you're breathing space between the vertebra. With every exhale, you're releasing tension. As you get into the rhythm of deepening the inhalation, lengthening the exhalation, this almost feels like a massaging action down through the length of your spine, pausing wherever feels appropriate to you. Your attention may be drawn to an area of tension, tightness, typically through the shoulders, perhaps in the middle back, oftentimes held in the lower back. Send the breath to whichever part of the body needs that little extra attention. With every out breath, release here, unclench here. As you reach all the way down to the base of the spine, bring your awareness back to that inhalation, widening and expanding through the front of the body, softening and releasing through the back of the body. Visualizing sending the breath to the back of the ribcage, creating space here. Exhaling to release your body weight here. Becoming aware of the weight through the length of your arms, perhaps feeling the back of your hands heavy, noticing your fingers soft and release. So even if you wanted to lift your arms right now, your body feels so released, so heavy, you wouldn't be able to. Let's continue to send the breath down through the length of the body. This time bringing your focus to the space between the hips. You might notice the belly rise on the inhale. As you feel the belly soften on the exhale, visualize those hip points widening, creating space here between the hip bones, across the pelvis, feeling the weight through the back of your hips ease a little more deeply into the floor. Visualize sending the breath in and around the right hip joint, exhaling to release any tension here. Then repeat that action, sending the breath in and around the left hip joint. Feel that expansion on the inhalation, that full release on the exhalation. Now continue to send the breath down through the length of your legs. With every exhalation, feel the thighs soften and release. Perhaps you can let weight go on the top of the thighs. Perhaps you can imagine the back of your thighs spreading, softening. It may benefit you to imagine sending the breath in and around the knee joints. Pay particular attention to unclenching here. If you feel that you're holding your knees tight, try drifting the knees to rest towards one another. Creates a gentle opening through the side of the hips, and it takes that tension away from the calves, from the shins. Send your focus down through the lower legs, softening the feet, relaxing the toes, feeling the whole weight of your body melt into the floor. Maintain your awareness on the pace of the breath, inhaling deeply, exhaling fully. Consider every exhalation as a letting go, every inhalation an invitation to heal, to recharge, to prepare your body for the work of our practice this evening. So we'll keep that lovely wide space through the back of the body. We'll encourage a little more width now through the front of the body as we readjust the arms to create a T shape. Again, we're keeping the palms turning up towards the ceiling. Visualizing inhaling to the palms of the hands, to the tips of the fingers. Exhaling to soften the weight of the shoulder blades back to the floor. If you took a moment there to rest the knees together, let's slide the knees apart once more. Then on the exhale, simply roll both knees over to the right side. Try to keep the back of the hips square and just encourage that little extra lift and stretch through the left hip flexor. Inhale to widen through the fingertips, through the chest, through the collarbones. As you exhale, Draw the weight of the knees back through centre and release the knees over to the opposite side. Again, we don't want to lift the bottom from the floor, so try to keep the back of the hips equally weighted, just encouraging a little more space through the front of the right hip flexor. Inhale to widen and expand. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll the knees back again to centre. As you exhale, take the knees to the right, gently roll your head over the left. We're gently softening any tension in the neck, beginning to now trigger that opening stretch through the side of the pectoral muscles into that left side of the ribcage. Inhale to widen and expand. Exhale to engage the core. Roll the knees through centre. As you draw the knees to the left, turn your head over the right arm. Feel again that equal weight through the shoulders, through the back of the hips. So rather than lifting and twisting, we're encouraging a little reach, a little extra release into the hip flexor, into the side of the ribcage. Inhale to widen and expand through the front of the body. Exhale, draw the tummy button in and roll both knees back again to centre. Now draw the knees in towards the chest. Position the hands on top of the knees, and we'll use the hands to draw little circles with the knees. So it's that sense of stirring the top of the thigh bone into the hip socket, changing direction, taking those circles the opposite way. As you bring the knees back to centre, let's take a moment to cross the feet over at the ankles. You can use your hands to almost reach through the bent knees, take hold of the ankles, ideally keeping the back of the head rested to the floor. Then on the out breath, draw the ankles a little closer towards the chest. So this gives a sense of stretching over the sacrum, lifting the bottom gently from the floor, but keeping that middle back firmly connected to the mat. It's just a very subtle, easy stretch. Then as you exhale, release your grip on the ankles, replace the feet to the floor, reposition the feet hip-width distance apart. Now bring the hands either side of the hips, palms turned up to the ceiling, shoulder blades drawn together. Inhale to push into the soles of the feet, gently lifting the bottom from the floor, working with the breath to create a diagonal line from the knee through the hip to the shoulder. So a reminder that every inhalation we press the shins forward, we lift the thighs a little higher. Take care to ensure that you're weighted through the soles of the feet. Avoid rolling to the outside edge of the feet. Inhale to press the shins a little further forward, wide through the chest. On the next inhalation, lift the arms overhead. Rest the backs of the hands towards the floor. If this feels tight for you through the shoulders, it may help to make cactus arms or to take the arms wider. Resting the forearms, the upper arms towards the floor, keeping that lift through the bridge, pressing the shins forward, lifting the thighs a little higher. We'll keep those arms rested back and down. As you exhale, roll through the spine, guiding once more vertebra by vertebra towards the mat. Take care to feel that sensation through middle back, into that lift in the lower back. Then bring the full weight of the back of the hips to the floor. As you exhale, hug the knees in, bring the hands to the shins, and just have a gentle rock through the back of the hips. Again, encouraging what feels like a massaging action. The weight of your hips, easing any tension. Return again to centre. Replace the left foot on the mat, knee is bent. Keeping hold of that right knee, Hand to the shin or the back of the thigh if that's more comfortable. Exhaling to draw the knee towards the chest. Changing the angle here as you direct the knee out towards the shoulder. So we just create a little more space, again in that middle back area. Drawing the knee back again to centre. Then popping that right ankle on top of the left thigh. We'll reset the right knee to make sure it's rolled in towards the nose. Starts a gentle opening to the right side of the hip. Reposition the hands either side of the hips, palms again turned up. Exhale, draw the tummy button in. Inhale, lift the left foot from the floor. Exhale to squeeze that left knee in and just start that slightly deeper stretch happening to the right of the buttock, the hip. If you can, extend and lengthen the left heel up towards the ceiling. So bringing that left foot to flexion, recognizing that this will feel quite tight on the back of the hamstring. Inhale to point, exhale to flex, inhale to point. On this next flexion, push a little more keenly through the heel. On the next out breath, bend that left knee again, squeezing the knee in towards the chest. Then replacing that left foot on the floor, unhooking the right foot. Exhale to bring the left knee in. So again, we start with the bent knee, hand to the shin or the back of the thigh, bringing the knee straight towards the chest, then adjusting the angle to direct the knee out towards the shoulder. Just subtly changes where we feel the release. Bring that knee back again to centre. Then we'll pop that left ankle on top of the right thigh. Resetting the left knee, rolling in towards the nose. Hands either side of the hips. Inhale to widen through the chest. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, squeezing the knee in towards the chest. We can play around with the intensity here. Every exhalation, squeezing the knee a little closer. Then on the next inhalation, send that right foot up towards the ceiling. Inhale to point the toe. Exhale to come to flexion. Inhale to point. Exhale to flex. Pushing a little more keenly again through the heel, developing that stretch to the hamstring. Then when you bend the knee, coming back to that stretch to the outside of the hip as you squeeze the knee closer to the chest. Replace that foot to the floor, unhook the left foot. Then we'll bring both knees in again. One hug straight towards the chest. The next hug, widen the knees, almost as though you're posting the knees towards the armpits, taking that wide release. Again, we can take that little rock from one side to the other. Try to keep the knees wide so that we feel this in a slightly different space. Bring the body back again to centre. Replace the left foot on the floor. The knee is bent. Extend and lengthen straight through the right leg. So bring that right leg up towards the ceiling. The sole of the foot in flexion. Inhale to point. Exhale to flex. Position the hands now behind the thighs. Create an interlock here just to keep that nice and secure. On the out breath, nudge the thigh a little closer to the chest. Inhale to press a little more keenly through the heel, keeping the bottom on the floor. So we're going to keep that quite deep diagonal, but we'll allow the ankle to soften. Use the big toe to draw 3 circles in towards the midline of the body. Change direction, take those circles the opposite way. Bring the foot back to full flexion, pressing through the heel, drawing the thigh again a little closer to the chest. Then gently soften that knee, replacing the right foot to the floor. Exhale to bring the left knee in. Support that thigh with an interlock. Push through the left foot. Exhale to bring the foot to flexion. Open through the sole of the foot. Inhale to point. Exhale to flex. Another point. On the exhale, push through the heel and deepen that diagonal. Just start to gently tease that hamstring a little deeper. You could soften the ankle using the big toe to draw 3 circles in towards the body. Then take 3 circles the opposite way. Come again to full flexion, pressing through the heel. Exhaling to create a little space to draw the thigh closer again. Then on the out breath, bend the knee, replace that left foot to the floor. So we're going to add 2 of the postures together. On the inhalation, we're lifting the bottom off the floor, coming back to bridge pose, pressing the shins forward, widening the arms to make a T shape. Then on the out breath, I want you to push the hips over to the right hand side so the hips effectively move parallel to the floor. Then lower the back of the hips all the way to the mat. So we've just taken the hips over to the right side. Lift your right foot, pop it on the outside of the left knee. Then on the exhale, bring that right knee over the midline of the body. We took the hips over to the right side, so we're exaggerating the depth of space that we're creating down the side of the rib cage, into the armpit, most notably to the side of the hips, into the underside of the buttock. You might notice that the right shoulder feels the urge to peel from the floor. Let's mindfully breathe that shoulder back to the mat. Turn the gaze over the right arm. Inhale to widen from fingertip to fingertip. Exhale, let that right knee become heavier. With every out breath, you're deepening that stretch to the side of the hip. Just allowing gravity to soften the knee to the floor. So for some of us, this will already feel quite tight, particularly around the buttock. If you feel that you've got a little extra space to give in this posture, you can always bring the left hand over to rest on top of the right thigh. Try not to put it on the knee. Then apply gentle pressure to direct the knee even closer to the floor. You can adapt how much pressure you give to just open a little more deeply into that tight buttock area. You'll have gone too far if you feel the right shoulder lift to the floor. So it may be that you're better not to use the hand and just let gravity do that work. On the next inhalation, release the hand from the side of the thigh. Come back to that T-shaped position. On the exhalation, draw the tummy button in. Support the weight of the knees travelling back through centre. Unhook that right foot. Remember, we push the hips over to the right, so we need a moment to lift the bottom up, reset in centre, so that you create a line from the shoulder through the hip to the heel. Now, I think most of us will be feeling that that right hip, that right buttock just feels a little wider, a little more turned out and soft. So let's do the same on the other side. Push down into the soles of the feet, lift the bottom from the floor. Focus on the exhale to keep the control as you push the hips over to the left. Then gently lower the back of the hips towards the mat. Lift the left ankle up and over, parking that ankle to the outside of the right knee. On an out breath, we're bringing the left knee over the midline of the body. So traveling that left knee to right, breathing the weight of the left shoulder to the floor, turning your gaze over the left arm to help keep that weight through the upper body, to encourage that twist, that opening through the side of the waist and the rib cage. And we just allow gravity to start to drift that left knee a little deeper towards the floor. So most of us are tighter on one side of the body than the other. Typically, if you're right-handed, this left side will be a little tighter. So it might be that this gravity release is enough on this side. If this side feels a little looser for you, you might wish to use the hand to apply that little extra pressure. Remember not to overdo it, to avoid the knee joint, and to try to keep that left shoulder released to the floor. When we hit the perfect sweet spot with this posture, we get a lovely deep stretch at the side of the pectoral muscle into the underarm, and that definite release through the left side of the hip into the buttock. Inhale to widen through the chest. Open that right arm back out again. Exhale to engage the core. Roll the knees back through center. Unhook that left foot. Reset the hips again, so we're creating once more that straight line. Take a moment to notice that the hips both feel equally stretched, and hug both knees in towards the chest. Rather than rocking from side to side, let's use the knees to draw a figure of 8 above the hips. Again, that gentle massaging action can just help to release any residual tension here. On the out breath, hug both knees in towards the chest. Then replace both feet to the floor. So I'll remind you that you've been laid on your back for quite some time. We started the session with quite deep breathing. So if you think that you might feel a little dizzy, you might prefer to roll to your left side and take a moment to bring yourself up to a seated position. Lovely. So part of the action that we just did with the, it's actually called a belly twist, but we feel it more at the side of the hips, is that it kind of creates a response that the hips feel as if they're opened out now, that there's a little bit more room, a little bit more release. We tend to hold that area very tight. So we'll just work with that for a little longer, bringing the soles of the feet into a Baddha Konasana. So drawing the soles of the feet together, perhaps pulling the heels a little closer to the groin, lifting and lengthening out of the sit bones. Firstly, just using the breath, exhaling to let the knees hold a little wider. So with every out breath, we're just releasing the knees. We'll add into this every in breath, we'll draw the knees up. Exhale to release. Inhale to widen. Exhale to release. Inhale to widen. Let's have a further exhalation. Keep those knees wide. Inhale to realign, lifting out of the sit bones. Exhale now to hinge forward, taking care to make a diagonal line from the back of the head to the tailbone. So be mindful if you're curving through the upper back, if the head is dropping towards the floor. Consider leading with the sternum. Exhaling to ease a little more deeply into this space. On the inhale, widen through the chest. Exhale, engage the core. Inhale, slowly drift back to center again. Now extend the right leg wide. Bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the thigh. In this posture, we should ideally feel that we are equally weighted through the sit bones. Sometimes when we bend the knee, the temptation is to lean to that side, so try to keep your weight in centre. Let's have the right toe pointing up towards the ceiling, that lift and lengthen out of the sit bones. As you exhale, start to walk the hands forward. So this isn't a challenge about how far you can take the hands forward. It's about fine-tuning the stretch to the inner thigh, keeping that right toe active so that you're feeling the stretch absolutely in the inner thigh. Any tension that you get behind the knee, you can slacken off by just softening the knee a little. To get deeper into this position, bringing the elbows or the forearms to the floor might be helpful. And if you're super flexible, you may wish to stack one fist on top of the other and bring the forehead to rest. If by coming that far forward you feel that you're lifting the right sit bone from the floor, we've just gone a little bit too far, so come back to supporting the upper body, keeping the sit bone square. Exhaling to draw the tummy button in, inhaling to walk the hands back towards the ankle. Beautiful. Extend the opposite leg, bend that knee in, lift up and lengthen. So coming back to that point of if you're right-handed, you might find your left side is tighter. Notice if that left sit bone is more inclined to lift and just adjust your weight accordingly. Lengthen on the inhale, on the exhale. Start that little walk forward and just keep aware of keeping the left toe pointing up towards the ceiling. Exhaling to draw the forearms to the floor. Perhaps the elbows are getting in the way, so adjust if you need to take the arms wider. Whatever works for you, making sure that the sit bones remain equally weighted. There is the option, if you wish, to stack one fist on top of the other. But if we're in too much of a hurry to get there, we might lift that left sit bone from the floor. Keep lengthening, extending through the sternum, fine-tuning that little stretch in the inner thigh. Exhaling to draw the tummy button in, then walking the hands back towards centre. Let's take both legs wide. We know that this posture is particularly good if we have sciatica or any pain in the lower back where it all feels compressed. So think about lifting again the stacked vertebra, lengthening on an inhale, on an exhale. We'll start the walk forward. On an inhale, we'll remind ourselves to switch the toes up. On an exhale, take the hands wide, rest them wherever is comfortable for you. It might be just below the knees, it might be the shins, you might want to come to the ankles. It might be that on an exhale, you feel that you can reach to the soles of the feet. But try not to do that at the expense of the lower back. So listen to what's going on elsewhere in the body. Exhaling to bring the shoulders parallel to the floor. So the lower back is very exposed in this position. So we'll make sure we're fully supported, bringing the palms of the hands under the shoulders. Push down into the palms of the hands, engage the core. Inhale to lift and walk back to centre. Beautiful. Slide the feet together in a Dandasana position. So again, aligning the back of the head with the tailbone. Let's just take a moment to point the toes away on an inhale. Bring the toes towards the shins on an exhale. Inhale to point away. Exhale to come to flexion. We'll stay in flexion, pushing a little more keenly through the heels. Try to keep the back of the heels rested to the floor. Inhale, lift up out of the sit bones, shoulder blades drawn together, extend the hands forward. So palms are facing inwards, thumbs are up, but everything is soft, the joints aren't locked here. Where you feel any tension is where the sit bones are actively gripping the floor, where you're lengthening through the back of the hamstrings There might be a little bit of warmth behind the knees. Keep the knees soft so that that doesn't become pain. On the next inhalation, take the arms wide. Bring the fingertips in towards the palms, thumbs up. Draw the shoulder blades together. Inhale, visualize lifting the top of the head towards the ceiling. So we're really lifting the weight of the rib cage off the belly, pressing through the soles of the feet. Warm now in the thighs, in the core. Visualizing sending the breath all the way down to the soles of the feet. Let's avoid breathing into the top third of the lungs. Inhaling to the belly, the chest and the collarbones. Exhaling from the collarbones, the chest and the belly last. One further full breath rotation here. As you exhale, release with an audible sigh. Soften the hands down by your side. Keep that Dandasana position as you inhale to squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale to roll the shoulders back and down. Bring the palms together to create an interlock in the lower back. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together. Keep that core engagement. So it might almost feel now that you're lifting the pelvis, the lower abdominals. As you exhale, squeeze the hands away from the lower back. Inhale to widen through the chest. Keep that L-shaped position, so avoid leaning forward. As you exhale, release. Reposition the hands either side of the hips. We're going to take a little bit of weight into the wrists, so to avoid pushing all your weight back, let's take a moment to adjust, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor, push into the soles of the feet, lift the bottom, come into this reverse table position. So I'm just taking a moment to have a look around. In an ideal world, we want a straight line from the knee through to the shoulder. So it's a tricky one because the temptation is to almost bend in the middle. We've spent a little bit of time working on the hip flexors. So imagine that you're making that bridge shape again. Push the shins forward, lift the thighs higher, draw the shoulder blades together. Beautiful. Then as you exhale, bring the sit bones to the floor. As you inhale, lift up to center. I'm going to bring you into a cross-leg position. So my preference tonight is going to be to bring the right heel in first, to pop the left heel in front. And again, resetting that line from the back of the head to the tailbone. Keep the underside of the chin parallel to the floor. As you inhale, turn and look over the right shoulder. As you exhale, lower the chin down towards the shoulder, then trace the line of the collarbone all the way from left to right. Reset the underside of the chin parallel to the floor, then trace that line again from right to left. Bring the head back again to center. Exhale to release the chin towards the chest. So at no point do we want to curve the upper spine. We just want to work with the breath to let the head become heavy. You'll feel a lift, a stretch between the shoulder blades. Engage the core. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. Bring the underside of the chin parallel to the floor. Beautiful. Now bring the hands to an interlock. We're going to pop that interlock behind the back of the head. Spread the elbows wide. Consider the position of the shoulders here. Ideally, we don't want the shoulders at the ears. Keep them relaxed back and down. And we're making as much space as we can with those elbows. As you exhale, drive the elbow towards the floor. Turn the head to the opposite elbow. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together, leading with the sternum. Engage the core. Inhale, lift back to center. As you exhale, squeeze to the opposite side. Try to lift and rotate through the side of the rib cage. We're drawing the elbows back, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling, exhaling, engaging the core, inhaling, coming back again to center. Reposition the hands behind the hips. Draw the shoulder blades together. So without putting too much pressure into the fingertips, think about lifting the sternum, drawing your gaze up towards the ceiling, opening through the upper thoracic spine. Keep drawing the shoulders back and down. As you exhale, engage the core. Inhale to bring the gaze forward. Reposition the palms so that you're almost leaning into the palms, into the wrists. Press the shins forward, lift the bottom from the floor. So we're back into that front of the hip flexor, clearing a little lift as we lift the sit bones off the mat. Then reset the bottom to the floor. Inhale to lift and come back to center. Let's switch that leg cross over so the opposite foot comes in front or behind. Hands either side of the hips, shoulders rolled back and down. Extend the right hand away, lift and lengthen through the left. Draw the elbow in towards the rib cage, then lead with that left hand up and over. Try not to bring the hand in front of the face. Keep the upper arm tracking at the side of the ear. So this supporting arm should feel soft, there's no weight in the shoulder. Extend and lengthen. Keep the sit bones stuck to the mat, deepening that stretch to the side of the rib cage. Rotating the rib cage up towards the ceiling as you turn your gaze up to the inside of the armpit. Inhale, lift, come back to center. Take that lovely wide extension on the other side. So remember, it helps to keep that elbow soft, shoulder rolled back. Lift and lengthen, track the edge of the ear, exhale to come a little deeper, inhale to reach a little further, really feeling this into the side of the waist, into the rib cage, turning your gaze up towards the ceiling. Then inhale, lift, come back to center. Pop that hand behind the hip, opposite hand to opposite knee, lift up and lengthen the side of the rib cage rather than the shoulder as you come into a comfortable twist on this side. Inhale to take that little extra lift and length. Exhale to squeeze a little more deeply here. So that rotation is coming from the waist. That rotation is coming from the side of the rib cage. As you release that twist, inhale, lift, bringing both arms overhead into a Y shape. Exhale, opposite hand to opposite knee. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, come into the first part of the twist. Reset the shoulders back and down. Lead with the side of the rib cage. Come a little deeper into the twist. Remember, tension is not your friend. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. On the next exhalation, bring the shoulders to face forward. Place the hands onto the knees. Exhale to draw the tummy button in, roll through the spine, nod the chin to the chest, creating a cat stretch in this seated position. Inhaling, lifting the sternum forward, rolling the shoulders back and down, turning the gaze up. Exhaling, rolling through the spine, cat stretch. Inhaling, opening the sternum forward, relaxing the shoulders, cow pose. Lift the gaze forward once more, keep those shoulders relaxed. Extend both arms forward. So we did this in our Dandasana position. A reminder is if you're leaning against an invisible wall, bring the palms together. We're going to stack left forefinger over right, just because it feels slightly odd. Turn the hands inside out, mindfully not locking the elbows out, so soften the elbows, release the shoulders from the ears. As you inhale, start to lift the arms up. As you exhale, soften the shoulders. Inhale, bring the sides of the upper arms to the sides of the ears. Exhale, soften any tension. Inhale, extend and lengthen, pressing the open palms to the ceiling. Exhale, draw the tummy button in. On the next exhalation, keep that core engagement. Slide the hands back again to chest level. Turn the palms in towards the heart. Then reposition the hands either side of the hips. We'll come now into an all fours position, and then in a moment I will let you come back to the floor. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, turning the toes under, finding that cat stretch position. Exhaling, drawing the tummy button in, rolling up through the spine, nodding the chin to the chest, really exaggerating that lift in the lower back. A sense that you're pushing the sit bones towards the heels, tucking the tailbone under. So we're really pulling through the full length of the spine. Rest to the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the chest forward. Let the lower back completely release. Exhale, rolling up. Keep lifting that tummy button towards the spine, rolling through the lower back, tucking the tailbone under. Then release back. Neutral spine position. Lower down onto the forearms. Walk the feet back. Lower the thighs, the belly, the chest to the floor. Keep those elbows either side of the chest, the palms either side of the head. Draw the shoulder blades together. Remember, we don't want the shoulders up at the ears, so roll them back and down. Anchor the thighs into the mat, little half tilt of the hips. Push into the forearms. Inhale to lift the chest. Now the temptation here is to tense the buttocks, so relax the bottom. Let those thighs become heavy. As you root down into the thighs, into the hip flexors, visualize lifting the sternum a little higher. So just deepening that curve in the upper thoracic spine. On the out breath, turn and look over one shoulder. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to look over the other shoulder. Inhale again to look forward. You will know if this is within your tolerance for your spine. It may be that you wish to stay in this position. If you have a little further to go, you can bring the forehead to the mat, reposition the hands either side of the chest, draw the elbows in. It's almost a sense of keeping hold of the rib cage between the upper arms, anchoring those thighs to the mat once more, then unclenching the buttocks, pushing into the palms of the hands, shoulders relaxed, leading with the sternum. For now, just keep the gaze ahead. That's kinder for the neck. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in, push the sit bones back towards the heels. Keep the palms stuck to the floor. We want to feel that stretch from the fingertips through the palms, through the wrists, all the way through the length of the arms as we weight the sit bones down towards the heels. Keep drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Keep pressing the palms into the mat. Subtle shift as we lift the fingertips from the mat, pressing the wrists to the floor. Then replace the palms, spread the fingers. Soften the elbows. Slide the forearms back towards the shoulders. Position one fist on top of the other. Bring the forehead to rest here. Resting in this easy child's pose. Perhaps rolling through the forehead to bring one ear parallel to the floor. rolling through the forehead to bring the opposite ear parallel to the floor, and returning again to center. Visualize sending the breath all the way down to the small of the back, to that area where we often hold tension. Visualize sending the breath here, widening and expanding into that space, exhaling to release and let go. Inhaling into that area in the lower back, exhaling to release. Take one further full breath rotation. As you come to the exhalation, release with a noisy sigh. Then I'll leave it up to you whether you prefer to lie on your front, some people do, to come into a position of lying on your back, or if you don't want to get too snoozy, remain in a seated position. So we started in a supine position with the knees bent. Because we've created a little more length into the hamstrings, in and around the hips, it might feel more comfortable for you to extend the legs, but you may prefer to widen the feet, widen the hands, equal distance from the midline of the body. There's a lot of instruction, a lot of focusing. So let's just check in with those concentration points. Release any frown, unclench the jaw, allow the tongue to rest in the well of the mouth. Soften all the muscles of the face. Imagine that your hairline is slipping backwards, and that the back of your head is melting into the space either behind you or beneath you. Your whole head soft, heavy, completely released. As your head continues to sink into the floor, feel your neck soften. Feel where your neck meets your shoulders. Release, unclench here. Widen through the collarbones. Feel yourself easing a little more deeply into the flats of the shoulder blades. Noticing the weight through your shoulders, through your upper arms. Take note of the elbows soft, the forearms heavy, the wrists released. Almost feels as though you're holding weight in your hands as you allow the back of your hands to soften, to sink a little more deeply into the floor. Your fingers completely released. As the weight of your shoulders and your arms continue to pull you down, feel the wide muscles of your back release their grip on your spine. The whole of your middle back, your lower back, gently melting towards the floor. feeling your tummy soft, the space over the front of your hips released, the back of your waist, the back of your hips, drawing a little more deeply into the floor. If you need reminding, unclench the buttocks, soften the inner thighs, a sense of the thighs rolling outwards, the back of the thighs spreading towards the floor, the top of the thighs released, knees soft, calves, shins, ankles release. The length of your feet, all the way to the tips of your toes. Soft, heavy, completely release. There's nowhere else you need to be. So take this moment to be grateful. Grateful for permitting yourself this hour to reconnect with the body, the breath, of giving yourself space and time for these rare few moments of quiet and calm. I invite you to spend a few moments just enjoying the quiet. Know that I'm holding space for you, and you can just be. Follow your breath without expectation. Notice your thoughts without judgment. Submit to the quiet. If you find your attention wanders, let your focus rest on the breath. The cool air at the tip of the nose, the warm air back of the throat. Noticing again that sense of filling the lungs completely, emptying the lungs fully. Every inhalation nourishing, energizing. Every exhalation cleansing and releasing. Bringing your attention now to scan the body from head to toe. And just taking a moment to check in with any part of the body. Maybe asking for a little extra attention. Anywhere that you know pain or limitation, stress or tension manifests for you. Focus on a full deep inhalation, recharging. A noisy exhalation, permission to let go anything that doesn't serve you. Inhaling deeply to recharge, to re-energize. Exhaling fully to release. One further deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling now with an audible sigh. Repeat if you feel the need. Then start to nudge your breath back to a natural, easy rhythm. To nudge your awareness back to your space within this room. Noticing how you hold your body, your position on the floor. Feeling the cool air in the room against your face, your hands, your feet. Feeling that cool air urge you towards a more alert and wakeful state. Returning sensation to the physical body by wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, taking a long stretch if you need it, hugging the knees to the chest if you prefer. Then when you feel ready, returning to a comfortable seated position. Oh, it almost feels cruel to bring you round tonight. You're all so soft and smoochy. Bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honours the light in you. Namaste. A nice gentle ease back and a long relaxation.
Thank you.